Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Quotes 365. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a relationship that felt off? Like something deep inside was trying to tell you it wasn't right? Even if you couldn't explain why? Maybe it was a quiet unease in your chest, a strange tension in your shoulders, or a feeling of exhaustion every time you were with that person. You're not alone. And those feelings are not random. They're signals, subtle yet powerful messages from your body, mind, and even the universe. Here's the thing. We often try to rationalize away these feelings, convincing ourselves that things will get better or that we're overthinking. But folks, when your gut, your emotions, and even your physical state are all sending you warnings, it's time to listen. Stoicism teaches us to recognize and trust these signals, not with panic or fear, but with calm observation and self-awareness. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "If something seems difficult, it's because you're not in harmony with it." And in relationships, this lack of harmony is something you can't ignore. In today's video, we're diving into 7 signs the universe and your own body give you when a relationship isn't meant to be. These aren't dramatic or obvious signals. They're quiet, subtle whispers that speak volumes if you pay attention. From a knot in your stomach to emotional chaos, these signs aren't just about discomfort. They're about guiding you towards something better, something aligned with your true self. Let's pause for a moment. Think about a time when you felt completely at peace in a relationship. How did your body react? You probably felt relaxed, energized, and at ease. Now contrast that with a relationship that felt draining or toxic. Did you notice how your shoulders tensed up? Or how your heart seemed to race for no apparent reason? These physical and emotional responses are your body's way of telling you what your mind might not want to accept yet, that something isn't right. But why do these signs matter so much? Because ignoring them often leads to staying in situations that drain your energy, cloud your mind, and keep you from living authentically. The universe and your own inner wisdom is always nudging you toward peace, growth, and alignment. When we don't listen, we not only risk staying in unhealthy relationships, but also miss out on opportunities to connect with people and experiences that truly nourish our souls. So what are these 7 signs? They range from physical sensations, like tension and exhaustion, to emotional states, like confusion and restlessness. Each one is a message, a clue that your current relationship might not be aligned with your path. And here's the most empowering part. Recognizing these signs isn't about blame or regret. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about using Stoic principles to face the truth with courage and grace, and making choices that honor your well-being. By the end of this video, you'll not only be able to recognize these signs, but also understand how to interpret them through a Stoic lens. We'll explore how to respond with calmness and clarity, instead of getting caught up in emotional chaos. Because, folks, the goal isn't just to identify what's wrong, it's to find the strength to choose what's right for you. Let me ask you, have you ever ignored a feeling in your gut, only to realize later that it was right all along? If this resonates with you, drop a quick "I trust myself" in the comments below. Your intuition and your inner voice are some of the most powerful tools you have, and they're worth listening to. Before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe and join our growing community here at Stoic Relationships. We're all about helping you navigate life and love with wisdom, clarity, and strength. And folks, there's so much to uncover in this video. So get ready and let's begin. Number 1. Your gut knows the truth. Hey folks, let's start with the first and perhaps most powerful signal the universe sends us when a relationship isn't meant to be. Your gut instinct. Have you ever been around someone and felt that nagging sense of discomfort deep in your stomach? Maybe it's subtle, a faint tension you can't explain, or maybe it's stronger, like a knot that won't go away. That, my friends, is your gut speaking to you, and it's often far wiser than we give it credit for. Our gut is sometimes referred to as the second brain, and there's good reason for that. It's incredibly sensitive to our environment, picking up on energies, emotions, and dynamics before our conscious mind can process them. When something feels off in a relationship, your gut often knows it before your brain does. It's like a radar system, quietly alerting you to potential trouble ahead. Let's break this down. Imagine you're spending time with someone, and everything on the surface seems fine. They're polite, engaging, maybe even charming. But underneath it all, there's this uneasy feeling in your stomach. You can't pinpoint why, but it's there, quietly whispering that something doesn't add up. That's your intuition stepping in, trying to guide you toward a truth that your mind might be hesitant to accept. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This wisdom extends to listening to our internal signals. If something about a relationship doesn't feel right, it's often because it isn't aligned with your values or emotional needs. Your gut, in its quiet way, is pointing you toward this misalignment. But here's the challenge. Many of us have been conditioned to ignore these feelings. We tell ourselves we're overthinking or being unfair. We rationalize the discomfort, brushing it aside as paranoia or unnecessary worry. Folks, let me tell you, your gut isn't being paranoid. It's being protective. It's not trying to sabotage your happiness. It's trying to safeguard it. Here's an example. Have you ever started a relationship or friendship where everything seemed perfect on paper? They checked all the boxes, said all the right things, and yet, deep down, you felt uneasy. Maybe you ignored that feeling, thinking it would pass. But over time, as the relationship unfolded, those initial instincts proved to be right. That's the power of your gut. It sees things you might not yet be ready to see. So, how can you listen to your gut without letting fear or doubt take over? It starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to how your body feels around certain people. Does your stomach feel light and relaxed, or heavy and tense? Your physical reactions are often the most honest reflections of your emotional state. Trust them. Another key is to pause and reflect. Instead of brushing off the discomfort, sit with it for a moment. Ask yourself, what might my gut be trying to tell me? Sometimes, the answers won't come immediately, and that's okay. The act of acknowledging your feelings is the first step to understanding them. Let's also talk about the role of Stoicism here. Stoic philosophy teaches us to approach life with calm observation and logical detachment. When your gut is sending you signals, instead of reacting emotionally, step back and analyze the situation. What about this person or relationship might be causing the discomfort? Are there red flags you've been ignoring? Use your intuition as a guide, not a source of panic. Let me ask you, when was the last time you trusted your gut? How did it guide you? Drop a quick "my gut knows" in the comments if this resonates with you. Trusting your instincts is one of the most empowering things you can do, not just in relationships, but in every aspect of life. Here's the takeaway. Your gut is a powerful tool, a compass pointing you toward what aligns with your true self. When something feels wrong, it's not a coincidence, it's a signal. Listening to it doesn't mean jumping to conclusions. It means giving yourself the space to explore what your body and mind are trying to tell you. And folks, stay with me. There's so much more to uncover in this video. What comes next will help you see even deeper into the signals the universe is sending you. Let's keep going. Number 2, tension. you can't ignore. Hey folks, let's dive into another undeniable sign that a relationship might not be aligned with your path. Tension you can't ignore. You know the feeling: tight shoulders, a stiff neck, maybe even a clenched jaw. It's as if your body is constantly bracing for something, even when nothing is outwardly wrong. This isn't just random discomfort. It's your body trying to get your attention. Tension is one of the clearest signals that something in your environment or your relationship isn't right. Think of it this way. Your body is designed to react to stress as a survival mechanism. When you're in danger, your muscles tense up to prepare for action. But what happens when this tension becomes chronic? It means you're living in a state of low-grade stress, and that stress might be tied to the dynamics of your relationship. Let's paint a picture here. Imagine being in the presence of someone who constantly criticizes you, even subtly. They don't yell or argue outright, but their words carry undertones of judgment or disapproval. Over time, without even realizing it, you might start tensing up whenever you're around them. Your body is reacting to the emotional weight of their behavior, even if your mind hasn't fully processed it yet. This is where Stoicism comes in. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "It is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them." In this case, your body is judging the situation as unsafe or unbalanced. Even if your mind hasn't caught up, the tension you feel is a clear sign that your emotions and instincts are trying to protect you. But here's the thing. Many of us ignore these signals. We tell ourselves it's just a bad day or that we're overreacting. Folks, let me tell you, your body doesn't lie. If you're constantly tense around someone, it's time to take a closer look at why. Is it because you're trying too hard to please them? Is there unresolved conflict that you've been avoiding? Or is it simply because their presence drains you? Here's an example. Let's say you're in a relationship where you feel the need to walk on eggshells. You're constantly worried about saying the wrong thing or triggering an argument. Over time, this stress manifests as physical tension, tight shoulders, headaches, maybe even back pain. This isn't just a coincidence. It's your body reflecting the emotional toll the relationship is taking on you. So, how do you address this tension? The first step is awareness. Pay attention to when and where the tension arises. Is it specific to certain situations or people? Does it fade when you're away from them? These patterns are clues that can help you pinpoint the source of the stress. Next, take action to release that tension. This doesn't mean ignoring the problem. It means finding ways to process and address it. You might try mindfulness exercises like deep breathing or progressive muscle relaxation to help your body unwind. But more importantly, you need to address the root cause. Is there a conversation you've been avoiding? A boundary you need to set? This is where Stoic principles of courage and clarity can guide you. Let's also talk about the importance of boundaries. If someone in your life consistently makes you feel tense, it's a sign that your boundaries might be too loose or undefined. Setting clear limits isn't just about protecting yourself. It's about creating healthier dynamics. And folks, when you respect your own boundaries, others are more likely to respect them too. Let me ask you, when was the last time you noticed tension in your body around someone? What was your body trying to tell you? Drop a quick "I trust my signals" in the comments if this resonates with you. Here's the takeaway. Tension isn't just physical, it's emotional energy manifesting in your body. When you feel it consistently in a relationship, it's a sign that something needs to change. Don't ignore it. Explore it. Your body is your ally, always working to guide you toward peace and balance. And folks, stay tuned. There's more to uncover. The next part of this video dives even deeper into recognizing the signals the universe sends you. You won't want to miss it. Number 3, drained energy, hidden answers. Hey folks, let's talk about a signal that's as subtle as it is undeniable. Feeling drained after spending time with someone. Have you ever been around a person and left the interaction feeling exhausted, even if nothing outwardly dramatic happened? It's not just physical tiredness. It's an emotional and mental exhaustion that leaves you feeling hollow. This is your body and mind trying to tell you something isn't right. Think of energy as currency. Every relationship involves a give and take of energy. But when the balance is off, you'll feel it. Healthy relationships should leave you feeling uplifted or, at the very least, neutral, not completely drained. If being around someone feels like running a marathon, it's worth exploring why. Folks, your energy doesn't lie. When someone consistently leaves you feeling depleted, it's a clear sign to pay attention. Let's unpack this. There are many reasons why someone might drain your energy. Perhaps they're overly negative, constantly complaining without seeking solutions. Or maybe they're highly demanding, always needing your time, attention, or validation without reciprocating. In some cases, it might not even be what they say or do, but the overall dynamic of the relationship. A subtle imbalance that slowly wears you down. Here's an example. Imagine a friend who always seems to have a crisis. Every time you meet, the conversation revolves around their problems. You try to be supportive, but their energy feels like a black hole, sucking in your positivity and leaving you feeling depleted. Over time, you start to dread these interactions, even if you can't quite pinpoint why. Now, let's bring Stoicism into the conversation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you spend time with people who drain you, it's harder to maintain a positive mindset. Your emotional energy is consumed by their negativity or demands, leaving little room for clarity or peace. A Stoic approach encourages us to protect our energy by setting boundaries and focusing on relationships that align with our values. So, how do you recognize when someone is draining your energy? Start by reflecting on how you feel after spending time with them. Do you feel energized and supported, or tired and emotionally heavy? Pay attention to patterns. If you consistently feel worse after interacting with someone, that's a signal worth investigating. But recognizing the problem is just the first step. What can you do about it? One powerful tool is practicing emotional detachment. This doesn't mean shutting people out or becoming cold. It means learning to support others without absorbing their stress. For example, if someone is venting about their problems, you can listen empathetically without taking on their emotional weight. A simple mental shift, like reminding yourself, their emotions are not mine to carry, it can make a big difference. Another strategy is setting boundaries. If a relationship is leaving you drained, it might be time to reevaluate how much time and energy you're investing in it. This doesn't mean cutting ties entirely, but it could mean limiting how often you engage, or being clear about what you're willing to give. Remember, folks, protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's essential for your well-being. Let's not forget the role of self-care. When you feel drained, taking time to recharge is crucial. Whether it's through mindfulness practices, spending time in nature, or simply taking a break from social interactions. Prioritizing yourself helps restore balance. And folks, when you're balanced, you're better equipped to handle relationships with clarity and grace. Let me ask you, have you ever felt completely drained by someone, only to realize later that the relationship was one-sided? What did you do to protect your energy? Drop a quick "energy matters" in the comments if this resonates with you. Here's the takeaway. Feeling drained isn't just a reaction. It's a message. Your energy is one of your most valuable resources. And when it's consistently depleted by a relationship, it's a sign that something needs to change. By recognizing these patterns and taking steps to protect yourself, you can create space for relationships that uplift and energize you. And folks, Stay with me, there's more insight ahead. What's coming next will shed even more light on how to navigate these signals and align with relationships that truly serve your well-being. Let's keep going. Number 4, your heart's quiet warning. Hey folks, let's talk about an often overlooked but incredibly powerful signal: the quiet warnings your heart gives you. When we think about the heart, we usually associate it with love, excitement, or passion. But did you know that your heart can also serve as an alarm system, subtly alerting you when something isn't right? It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And if you're tuned in, those whispers can guide you toward clarity. Let's start with this. Have you ever been with someone and felt your heart racing? Not in a thrilling, romantic way, but in a way that feels like stress or anxiety. Your heart beats faster, your chest feels tight, and you can't seem to relax. That's not love, folks. That's your body responding to emotional or relational tension. It's like your heart is trying to say, "Pay attention, something here isn't good for you." Why does this happen? Well, your heart is closely connected to your nervous system, which reacts to stressors even before you consciously recognize them. If a relationship is causing you emotional discomfort or making you feel unsafe, your heart will often reflect that through an elevated heart rate or a feeling of tightness in your chest. It's your body's way of signaling that you're in a state of emotional alarm. Now, you might wonder, how do I know if it's a warning or just a momentary reaction? Great question. The key is to look for patterns. Does your heart consistently feel this way around a certain person or in specific situations? If it's a one-off moment, it might just be situational stress. But if it happens repeatedly, it's time to reflect on what's causing this reaction. Let's connect this to Stoicism. Epictetus once said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." In relationships, this means focusing on what you can control: your responses, your boundaries, and your choices. If your heart is warning you about something, ignoring it only prolongs the discomfort. Instead, take a step back and assess the situation with calm, logical observation. For example, let's say you're in a relationship where you constantly feel the need to prove your worth. Every time you're with this person, your heart races because you're worried about saying the wrong thing or not meeting their expectations. Over time, this emotional strain becomes physical. Your heart is essentially begging you to evaluate whether this dynamic is healthy for you. So, what can you do when you notice these warnings? First, acknowledge them. Ignoring the signals only leads to more stress and confusion. Instead, ask yourself, what is my heart trying to tell me? This isn't about jumping to conclusions. It's about listening and reflecting. Next, create space to process your emotions. This could mean journaling, meditating, or simply spending time alone to reconnect with yourself. When you give yourself the opportunity to think clearly, you'll often find that the answers become more apparent. Your heart's warning isn't there to punish you. It's there to protect you. Another important step is having honest conversations. If the tension you feel is rooted in unresolved issues or unmet needs, discussing them with the person involved can help bring clarity. Stoicism teaches us to approach such conversations with calmness and courage, focusing on facts rather than emotions. Remember, folks, your goal isn't to blame, it's to seek understanding and resolution. Finally, prioritize your well-being. If your heart's warnings persist despite your efforts to address the issues, it might be time to step back from the relationship. This doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're choosing peace over prolonged discomfort. Let me ask you, have you ever felt your heart sending you a quiet warning? What did you do about it? Drop a quick "I listened to my heart" in the comments if this resonates with you. Before we move on, I want to take a moment to thank you for being here with me today. If you're finding value in this video, don't forget to hit subscribe to join our Stoic relationships community. Together, we're uncovering the wisdom of Stoicism to navigate life and love with clarity and strength. And folks, there's still so much more to explore, so let's keep going. Number 5. Breathing speaks volumes. Hey folks, let's talk about one of the most natural yet revealing signals your body gives you: your breathing. Have you ever noticed how your breath changes depending on who you're with or the situation you're in? Sometimes it's slow and steady, leaving you feeling calm and grounded. Other times it's shallow, irregular, or labored, creating a sense of unease. That's not random. Your breathing reflects your emotional and physical state, and it speaks volumes about the dynamics of a relationship. Let's take a moment to think about this. When you're with someone who makes you feel safe and comfortable, your breathing becomes deeper and more natural. This is because your body feels at ease, signaling that you're in a supportive and harmonious environment. On the flip side, if someone triggers stress or tension, your breath might become shallow or constrained, almost as if your body is bracing for impact. Folks, your breath doesn't lie. It's an honest reflection of how you truly feel in the moment. Why does this happen? Breathing is directly connected to your nervous system. When you're calm, your parasympathetic nervous system is active, allowing you to breathe deeply and naturally. But when you're stressed or anxious, your sympathetic nervous system kicks in, triggering a fight or flight response. This can cause short, shallow breaths, or even the feeling that you can't catch your breath. If you frequently notice this happening around a specific person, it's a strong indicator that your body is trying to tell you something. Let's bring Stoicism into the conversation. The Stoics believed in observing the world and ourselves with calm detachment. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This applies to our breath as well. By paying attention to how we breathe, we can gain valuable insights into our emotional state and the quality of our relationships. Breathing is not just a physical act. It's a bridge between the body and the mind, a tool that helps us navigate both calm and chaos. Here's a practical example. Imagine being in a conversation with someone who is overly critical or dismissive. Even if their words aren't directly attacking you, their tone and energy might cause your chest to feel tight, making your breathing shallow. Your body is essentially saying, "This interaction is stressful. Be cautious." Now compare that to how you feel around someone who truly supports you. Your breath is steady, your chest feels open, and you're able to fully relax. That contrast is worth paying attention to. So, how can you use your breath as a guide in relationships? First, develop the habit of checking in with yourself. During or after interactions, pause and ask, "How does my breath feel right now?" If you notice consistent tension or shallow breathing around someone, it's a sign to explore the dynamics of that relationship further. Next, use breathing techniques to center yourself in moments of stress. Simple practices like box breathing, where you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and hold again for 4 counts, can help calm your nervous system and bring clarity to your thoughts. This doesn't just help you manage the situation. It also gives you a moment to reflect on what's truly causing your discomfort. Let's not forget the power of silence. If a relationship consistently leaves you feeling breathless in a negative way, it might be time to create some space. Stoicism teaches us that retreating from what harms us isn't weakness, it's wisdom. By stepping back, you allow yourself the opportunity to regain balance and assess the situation with a clear mind. Let me ask you, have you ever noticed how your breath changes around different people? What did it tell you about those relationships? Drop a quick "my breath knows" in the comments if this resonates with you. Here's the takeaway. Your breath is more than just a vital function. It's a compass, guiding you toward what feels right and away from what doesn't. By tuning into this subtle yet powerful signal, you can gain a deeper understanding of your emotional state and make choices that align with your well-being. And folks, stay with me. There's so much more to uncover. The next part of this video dives even deeper into how the universe communicates with us through our bodies and minds. Let's keep going. Number 6. Confusion versus clarity. Hey folks, let's talk about a signal that often hides in plain sight. The battle between confusion and clarity. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship or interaction that leaves you questioning everything? Your decisions, your feelings, even your self-worth. That foggy, uncertain state isn't just frustrating. It's a sign that something deeper might be off. The universe, through your own mind, could be nudging you toward clarity by showing you the confusion. Confusion is not inherently bad. In fact, it's a natural part of life when we're faced with difficult decisions or complex emotions. But here's the key. When confusion becomes the dominant emotion in a relationship, it's worth examining why. Are you unclear because the relationship is genuinely complex, or because it lacks alignment with your values and needs? Clarity, on the other hand, often accompanies relationships that are healthy and supportive. It brings peace of mind, confidence, and a sense of direction. Let's break this down. Imagine being with someone who constantly sends mixed signals. One day, they're warm and affectionate, and the next, they're cold and distant. This back-and-forth dynamic can leave you feeling unsteady, unsure of where you stand. Over time, this mental fog can cloud your judgment, making it harder to see the relationship for what it truly is. Folks, if a relationship consistently leaves you feeling this way, it's not a sign to push through. It's a sign to pause and reflect. Now let's flip the script. Think about a relationship in your life that feels clear and straightforward. Even if there are challenges, you probably feel secure in the other person's intentions and in your own place within the relationship. That clarity creates a foundation of trust and ease, allowing you to focus on growth rather than second-guessing yourself. This contrast between confusion and clarity is one of the most telling indicators of a relationship's alignment with your path. Here's where Stoicism offers guidance. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." The same principle applies to relationships. If a connection consistently feels unclear or disingenuous, it's likely not aligned with your highest self. The Stoics remind us to pursue simplicity and truth, not to get entangled in unnecessary complications. So, how do you move from confusion to clarity? The first step is self-awareness. Take a moment to reflect. What is causing this confusion? Is it a lack of communication, mismatched expectations, or perhaps deeper issues, like incompatibility or unspoken resentment? Identifying the root cause of your confusion can help you address it directly. Next, prioritize open and honest communication. If you feel unclear about where you stand with someone, don't be afraid to ask questions or express your concerns. Stoicism teaches us to approach such conversations with calmness and courage. Remember, folks, clarity is built through understanding, and understanding requires dialogue. Another powerful tool is solitude. When you're in the midst of confusion, stepping away from the situation can provide perspective. Spend time with yourself, reflect on your values, and reconnect with your inner voice. The answers you're seeking often become clearer when you remove external distractions. Finally, trust your intuition. If a relationship consistently leaves you feeling drained, uncertain, or conflicted, it might be time to reassess its place in your life. This doesn't mean you have to cut ties immediately, but it does mean being honest with yourself about whether the relationship is serving your well-being. Let me ask you, have you ever experienced that foggy state of confusion in a relationship? How did you navigate it? Drop a quick "I choose clarity" in the comments if this resonates with you. Here's the takeaway. Confusion is a sign that something needs your attention. It's not a state to fear, it's a signal to explore. By leaning into self-awareness, communication, and reflection, you can move from uncertainty to understanding and from doubt to direction. And folks, stay with me. There's still one more crucial insight ahead. What's coming next will tie everything together and help you fully recognize the signals the universe sends to guide you. Let's keep going. Number 7. When letting go feels right. Hey folks, let's talk about one of the most challenging yet liberating moments in any relationship. Knowing when letting go feels right. It's not easy to walk away from something you've invested your time, emotions, and energy into, but sometimes the most stoic decision you can make is to release what no longer serves you, calmly, gracefully, and with purpose. Let's start with this truth. Letting go doesn't mean failure. It means you've recognized that staying in the relationship isn't aligned with your well-being. When a relationship creates more confusion than clarity, more tension than peace, and more emotional drain than fulfillment, it's the universe nudging you toward a different path. And folks, letting go in such moments is not just an act of courage, it's an act of self-respect. Think about the times you've clung to something that no longer felt right. Maybe it was a relationship where the connection had faded, but you held on out of habit or fear of being alone. Or maybe it was a friendship where you constantly gave more than you received. Holding on to these situations might feel like the easier option in the moment, but over time, it takes a toll on your energy, your happiness, and your sense of self. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." In other words, the pain of letting go doesn't come from the act itself. It comes from our attachment to what we think we'll lose. By shifting our perspective, we can see letting go not as an ending, but as a new beginning. So, how do you know when letting go feels right? Start by asking yourself some honest questions. Does this relationship bring me peace or stress? Am I growing or am I shrinking? Does staying align with my values and goals? If the answers point toward dissatisfaction or misalignment, it's time to consider letting go. But folks, letting go doesn't mean walking away in anger or bitterness. A Stoic approach means letting go with grace. This involves accepting the situation for what it is, not what you wish it could be. It means focusing on what you can control, your actions, your emotions, and your future. When you let go with this mindset, you create space for healing, growth, and new opportunities. Here's a practical way to think about it. Imagine you're holding onto a rope that's pulling you toward a ledge. The harder you grip, the more your hands burn, and the closer you get to falling. Letting go might feel scary, but it's the only way to stop the pain and find solid ground again. Relationships work in the same way. Sometimes, releasing the grip is what saves you. Letting go also means trusting the universe. When you release what's not meant for you, you make room for what is. It's a leap of faith, but it's one rooted in self-awareness and confidence. As Stoics, we understand that life is ever-changing, and clinging to something that's no longer right only keeps us stuck. True growth comes from embracing change, even when it feels uncomfortable. Let me ask you, Have you ever had to let go of a relationship that no longer served you? What did you learn from that experience? Share your story in the comments. It might inspire someone else who's facing a similar decision. Here's the takeaway. Letting go feels right when staying feels like resistance. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing yourself and your well-being. By trusting the process, staying true to your values, and releasing with grace, you open the door to a life that's more aligned, peaceful, and fulfilling. And folks, thank you for joining me on this journey. Together, we've explored how the universe and our own intuition guide us through relationships, decisions, and self-discovery. Remember, your peace and clarity matter most. Until next time, take care, stay grounded, and keep growing. Thank you for joining me today, folks. I hope this video has given you valuable insights and practical tools to navigate your relationships with clarity and strength. Remember, the universe always has a way of guiding us toward what aligns with our true selves, if we're willing to listen. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe and join our Stoic Relationships community for more wisdom and guidance. And if this resonated with you, share it with someone who might benefit from it too. Take care, stay grounded, and as always, keep growing. See you in the next one.